So that's how we compare. Let's go forward. What does it actually mean to us? So how do we develop and implement performance targets? So get your head around that. So here again, I've broken it up into little bite-sized pieces, so I will pause every once in a while to get you and clear your head, because there's an awful lot of information here.
Jim, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Just about the flow duration. What are you specifically referring to that in the buildup that you talked to? Are you tying that back to the release rate? Are you tying that back to that 50% of the 2-year to 10-year or to 50-year?
The flow duration is the flow duration in the stream. For me, how much water is flowing in the stream? What's the discharge in the stream, and how long is it happening for?
After a storm?
No,
No. Okay.
the storm doesn't burn. It's multiple years. Multiple years. Typically, we're looking 20, 30, 40 years duration. During that duration, that time limit, how long has the flow in the stream been at certain discharge rates? So that's easy to get at some levels, less easy to others, but they all produce those kinds of numbers. Because what you get is a continuous hydrograph, and you just need to go in and pick on how long is the flow at this duration, how long is the flow at this, you're just adding time. So it's an accounting function after the modeling.
Okay.
So, knowledge changes over time, or as we learn. In 1999, Prince George's County in Maryland published this, and you'll see this in a lot of places. What people see is on the upper left is 10% runoff, and they focus on the 10% runoff. 25% deep infiltration. Well, that's to the saturated aquifer. There's all 25% shallow infiltration. That's your interflow. It's not really well stated here, but that's what it is. The guidebook went a bit further in 2002, and it actually started looking at, there's the interflow. It's shallow surface flow. So in 2002, we were making that distinction here in British Columbia. A little bit later on, we said, okay, as we build, we're actually interrupting that interflow. And one of the early watershed plans, Melanie, it's actually High Creek, was the early one that said development actually disrupts the interflow system. They called it the, they used a different term, but it was the interflow system. And they said it should be protected wherever possible. But they actually did go up and say it would be destroyed by development. Well, yeah, it will. So, so let's put it into perspective in terms of time scale. Surface runoff happens in minutes to hours. Like, it comes and goes. Interflow happens over days, up into a season or more. So this is the stuff that feeds your base flow during the summer, a big piece of it during the summer. And the deep groundwater from your saturated aquifers, it could be years to decades before it actually gets out of the aquifer into the stream. So it's a huge component. Looking at the numbers, what we see here on the West Coast is if we look at the balance, rainfall of 100%, stream discharge is actually 70 to 80% of that volume ends up in the stream. So how does it get there? Well, if we assume that 10% of the surface runoff is about right, and it generally is about right, that leaves 90, that leaves what, 60 to 70% coming from somewhere else. Gilles Wedlin and other hydrogeologists are finding that only about 10 to 25% of it actually gets into the saturated aquifers, generally. And that means that the interflow system is looking at anywhere from 25 to 60% of the flow into the stream goes through the interflow system, not through the deep backwaters. And we just learned that development kills the interflow system. Yes, so keep learning. So, with that in mind, the next 3 slides are going to talk about this in a little bit more